everyone, welcome to SeniorGolfSource.com. My name is Brett Francisco, PGA instructor. Today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite ways to help you hit the ball longer for senior golfers. As we continue to age in life, things don't necessarily get faster, and the golf swing typically is a perfect story in that situation. You know, in our mid-20s, we might have that over 100 mile an hour clubhead speed. We might carry that on up until our 40s, and then when we hit that 5-0 mark, things might start to decline, and they're expected to. You're not expected to be at your top performing peak levels as an athlete in your 50s. You know, some of you may, but for the most of us, I'm speaking to the crowd that is aging and just losing some yardage off the tee, so maintaining distance as we continue to get old. One of the first things I'm going to suggest that you do is stop and maybe visit with your doctor. You know, get with your primary care physician and just have them run some blood tests. Make sure that your levels are good. You might be deficient in certain things that can contribute to the overall health of your body. So, you know, go in just like you would take your car for a routine check. Take yourself into the doc, get a routine check, get some levels read, understand what's going on with the composition of your body. And you might be surprised. You might find that energy that you've noticed has been declining. So outside of that, here are some of my favorite tips to gain some speed as you're a senior. So I've played so many rounds of golf with seniors that I've really been able to firsthand experience and understand what happens to them. You know, we'll start on the front nine, maybe the first 5, possibly even 6 holes. They have this fast-paced swing. They're hitting the ball where they want to hit the ball, and then boom, we make the turn, and you can't blame it on the hot dog that you ate of where fatigue sets in. You know, if you're going to overexert yourself in the beginning part of the round, you're going to find fatigue much sooner and frustration as well. So we're looking at the swing itself. I want you to treat your golf swing as though it's something that you can do for 4 to 4.5 hours. I don't want you to get out there and give me a golf swing that represents the swing speed of you maybe 10, 15 years ago, and then before you make the turn, it's just out of whack, you're a big mess. This is where tempo comes in. If you have good tempo and you're smooth with your swing, you're going to notice that your hand-eye coordination is going to improve. You are going to strike the ball much better. And what I'm going to do right now is demonstrate that fact right now. So I'm going to take 2 very, very violent swings, and then I'm going to follow it with 2 very smooth rhythmic swings, and let's see what we get. I'm going to kind of look at the numbers. I'm going to look at the dispersion of the ball, but the big difference for me is not going to be anything but the mere aggression that I'm putting into my swing. So the first swing I'm going to take and the second swing I'm going to take are going to be rather violent for myself. All right. I might be able to do that perfectly a couple times out on the course. So for me, that was a very highly launched ball. I felt like I hit the ball a little bit more out towards the toe than the center. All right. That was a grand total of 260. And here I go again. I'm going to focus on the center. All right. So about the same, but if you notice, it kind of ballooned out to the right. I hit it on the toe again. And those were 2, for me, what felt uncomfortable swings. Now what I'm going to do is take 2 just rhythmic swings where I know I'm probably going to hit the center of the club face a little bit better. And let's look at the results. All right, that's more my ball flight. Now, did I lose any yardage? Nope. If anything, my ball flight improved. I most certainly hit the ball more centered in the club face, and I picked up that tight little draw that I'm used to playing off the tee. All right, one more just to kind of prove it. Double crossed myself on that one. So let's go one more for good measure. That's what happens when I get too loose. All right, now we're talking. I took a smoother swing there, 271 down the middle, nice little low, boring ball flight, dead center of the fairway. So just know that swinging at a good tempo, a good rhythm, there's a couple good books out there. One that really first comes to mind is John Novasul's Tour Tempo. I believe they actually made an app for it now. So if you're a techie person, you can definitely get that. Or if you're more old school and you like to have that paper in your hand, John Novasul's Tour Tempo. It's a great read. It talks about the ratios of backswing to downswing. I don't want to get into the too technical terms in that book, but it's an easy read. It's very understandable. And if you struggle with weight shift, you struggle with fatigue, you struggle with consistency, I highly encourage you to do so. Pick that book up. All right, so another way for us to gain speed as we're getting older is to look at our body's posture. Let's think about the golf swing, kind of paint this picture for you. The golf swing, the wider that I can make my range of motion, the greater potential that I can have in club head speed and hand speed. If it's a narrow arc and I'm not able to get very much range of motion right to left, I'm not going to have a very wide arc in my swing. Therefore, I'm not going to have the time and spacing to be able to develop speed. Just think about it. The longer and wider things get, the greater the potential that I'm going to generate more speed. The more narrow things get, so those broken elbows in the backswing, back and through, that's really going to address my ability to make good width of swing. So here is a great drill. I encourage all golfers across the board to use this drill to help establish a better rotational turn, both back and forward. Now what you're going to do is take your club, you're going to place it center to your sternum, and you're going to extend your arms down to the shaft. So you're not on the grip, you're not on the rubber part of the grip now. As I set up to it, what I want to do here is just kind of administer a turn where I feel like the butt end of the grip of the club is secured firmly against the sternum on my chest. If I go back, you can see how straight those arms have stayed and coming back. And then as I come through, the length of my arms is not really affected here. What I'm going to notice is if I'm short to swing my body back and just do it with my arms, I'm going to peel the end of that club right off my sternum and I'm going to feel it move. And that's what's going to cause those arms to start to break, and that's going to narrow up your range of motion, both back and through. We want to feel perfectly connected. I want to feel like, in my mind, the reason that my arms are moving, the reason that that club head is moving, is not because of my arms or my hands. It's moving because of the rotation in my torso, the rotation in my shoulders, and that's what's going to get me back and through. Basically, if I were to compare tour level golfers to average day golfers, the big difference in their swings is from the parallel position in the backswing to the parallel position in the forward swing. They are much more effective from here to here than the everyday average golfer that has issues with mobility and tends to break the arms with that narrow path. So I hope that made sense to you. And doing this drill, it's something you can do as much as you want. Really, there's not a cap on it because it's not a weight-bearing exercise. Like I said in the beginning of the video, make sure you check with the doc, make sure this is something that you can do. So run it past him, maybe share the video with him. I'd love to see the comments on it to see, if these things have helped. So please share. It's only going to help us drive more content to help you get better at golf. All right, now I'm going to share with you one of my favorite drills to help establish more speed as we're getting older. So, keeping in mind good tempo, keeping in mind good health, and keeping in mind good rotation, this drill is exceptional when it comes to understanding where your speed is. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the club, flip it upside down. I'm going to grip it just kind of below the hosel of the club, and I'm going to hover it off the ground, kind of almost like swinging a baseball bat. So you'll see from the angle here, it's angled downward, but we don't want this touching the ground. I don't want this to hit the ground because you could damage your club, you could hurt your hands, and we just don't want that to happen. So if I'm kind of more level out, I'm going to take it back and I'm going to swing forward. And when I swing forward, I'm going to hear a sound. I'm going to hear a whoosh. Now, if you hear the whoosh, start very early in your downswing, that means that those arms and hands are doing a little bit more work than they should be, releasing the club. You think about it, that sound of that whoosh of the club is the apex of the speed of your swing. I don't want that to happen prior to hitting the ball. I want that to happen where I'm hitting the ball or through where I'm hitting the ball, at least conceptually. What we're thinking while we're doing this drill. What's really happening for most tour golfers, they're really good at making it happen slightly prior to the contact of the ball. Like we're talking just minute differences of making contact versus not. And the greatest in the world make that speed happen at the ball. So when we're doing this drill, I want you to try to make that whoosh happen as far forward as you can, maintaining good tempo. So if you're doing this drill and you're falling over or your feet are moving around, slow it down. Do it at a speed that you can control, a speed that makes sense for you. And for me, I can feel like I have this little window of space that I hear the whoosh happen. I know that's happening because I'm releasing the club through as I strike. It's really going to help you gain that speed. It's an excellent warm-up drill. A lot of golfers will just go straight out to the range or maybe just go straight to the tee in their very first swing as a driver. Not recommended. Again, we're talking about longevity here. You want to be able to play a nice, solid, fluid round of golf for 4 hours or more. Let's make sure that we harness that power and utilize it to our best abilities. So thanks again for stopping by. Hope to see you guys soon. And please like and subscribe and share with your friends.